welcome back to Fujitsu Forum TV, where we continue to bring you live and exclusive coverage from Fujitsu Forum 2018. By the time we come off air, probably about 4:45 today, we would have delivered you 27 live interviews, 3 live keynotes. We would have got you a whole host of insight from global thought leaders, subject matter experts from Fujitsu, their customers, their partners. Full of insight today. Now, there's only one thing we're not broadcasting live, and that's a presentation that will be going on behind us over the next sort of 20 minutes. So you will hear some background noise on this one, but hopefully it doesn't interrupt things. We're talking public sector. If you're a public sector employee who thinks you've got digital transformation cracked, you might want to pay attention for the next 10 minutes, because we're probably going to show you you've got a bit of work to do. With me to explain more is Martin Kavats, who's the National Digital Advisor to the Government of Estonia, Patrick Stevenson, familiar face, MD Government here at Fujitsu. Martin, I must confess, I was captivated by your Digitising Estonia 2018 Summit. I went and watched this on YouTube. For the benefit of people watching, we're going to put some graphics on screen right now, because parents in Estonia of newborn children will be able to receive an automated email from the Estonian government detailing what payments they're getting and when they're going to receive them. Kindergarten enrolment will be automated and parents will be notified of the arrangements. And then the one that really blew me away, your tax return took you 18 seconds to complete. Your national average is 3 minutes. Right now, I dare say there's British and German viewers falling off their chairs thinking, why haven't we got these services? You guys are flying at the moment. For the benefit of people that haven't seen your keynote, what's invisible government and why is it so important to Estonia?
So first, thank you for having me here. The tax thing actually is really old school stuff. This we implemented in 2001. So basically, making a government digital is actually got nothing to do with turning paper procedures onto digital stuff. It's actually completely changing the way it works. So the first service we did was the taxes. So 3 minutes is the average, yes, and you can do that faster, so it's easier. But the idea of kids, when a newborn child is born, then getting the email from the government that you get this much mother's salary and this much from the municipality. This is all about automated and proactive services. This is something that we are currently working on. This is basically the idea if a person is entitled of getting anything from the government, he or she never has to apply. So it also can go for, I don't know, if you die, for example, your next of kin gets a message, sorry for your loss, this is your funeral support. Or, I don't know, if you lose your job, then you get an email that's sorry for that, this is your unemployment money. The idea is that basically usually when when people or businesses interact with the government, then usually it's about bad stuff, something that they have to do. It's not something that I really want to do. So we basically cut down on all the red tape and make all of that automated. And that's the very beginning of building this invisible government idea that we're working on.
Patrick, I don't want to take anything away from Estonia, because this truly is digital transformation excellence. Yep. Clearly the yardstick. 1.3 million citizens in Estonia, German viewers, particularly if there's anyone from the government here in Germany watching this, are they forgiven for saying, well, we've got 86 million citizens, we're never going to be able to replicate this, 66 million in the UK, or are they not working with the right partners? Scale isn't a barrier, is it?
No, I don't think scale is a barrier, and I think if you look at the UK, we've got some pockets of excellence around government digital services, probably pretty much siloed in the large government departments. I think to unlock the value of Estonia, we're coming back to that thorny issue of data sharing and trust. And I think, Martin, you talked about trust and cultural change that Estonia's gone through over a period of time. So I think to answer your question, we've got to unlock the next piece of value, let's say in the UK. We need to be able to share data more effectively across government. And then we need to be able to scale those platforms up to be part of critical national infrastructure. So I think data is absolutely key, and unfortunately, Martin, we haven't got a unique identifier in the UK, unlike Estonia and some of the other Nordic countries. Yeah.
The journey to invisible government, I can't imagine this would have been something that just started overnight. Just help us understand what's had to go into getting Estonia on this journey and what it's taken to focus everyone in the right direction.
So first, Estonia, when starting this, was a really, really poor country. So the main incentive for choosing to go digital was because doing this is actually cheap. This is usually very controversial because governmental ICT projects usually this is very, very expensive. But no, if you look at the whole transformation from a really far, and the whole procedures, the life cycle, then this is cheap. Currently we have the most effective public sector per capita globally because of these reasons. So that was the very first incentive why we chose to go digital. We haven't used any paper documents for 10 years. So basically all our national sovereignty is stored in bits and bytes. That also helps a little because we actually can move faster. Going towards the invisible government is a longer thing because this is something that we've been actually working for 5 years. For example, last year on the 25th of May, Estonian government piece of law basically saying that Estonia, as a slogan like we are the first government in the world that doesn't actually use documents for internal communication. Document is something that is in a specific format, but information isn't. This means that basically WhatsApp chats, Skype chats were under-regulated and documents were over-regulated. So we actually can use just information, not documents, to manage those invisible services. So there is actually a lot of bureaucratic nitty-gritty in the behind in order to make this a safe and a private journey for the citizens. And this is very fundamental because trust, like mentioned, is the key component. And in order to emphasize and build trust, this is not only a technological issue, this is a cultural issue, what politicians, civil servants have to do on an everyday basis. And this is something that is the very key component in making a digital governance happen. And this is the most difficult part, I would say.
Well, the dramatic music couldn't have been timed better for those key points. I'm sure there's people watching this that are thinking, okay, I'd love to adopt all of this, more data, but I've already got a problem just manage my existing data because it's spread across so many different departments. It's a question that keeps coming up, Patrick. How big a challenge to public service is it when data is spread across so many different departments, applications, and we want to add WhatsApp now to it, so that's just going to make things worse, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of learning we can take from Estonia around a distributed model, so I really like the fact that data isn't in one big massive data lake. And we're trying to maintain and keep that information up to date. The data's in multiple sources and it joins together on the interaction with the clients around a tell us once type of approach. I think our thinking just back into the UK of how we can take the Estonian model is probably a bit of a hybrid model. So have that distributed data architecture, which is, we've started to do that in the UK with Government Verify. And we need to add more services to the Government Verify platform, but then starting to give data to the power of the citizens in their hands, so people having their personal data. So having that hybrid model, I think we can actually accelerate to the 67 million people we've got in the UK. We can start to accelerate these digital services.
And one very fundamental point from Estonia is actually that in Estonia we are the owners of our data. So that is something that actually helps to break down the silos more easily. The government authorities do not feel that they are sitting on a lot of data and maybe they can make some money or something out of it, but it's the citizens' data. They are providing merely a service of keeping that safe and secure.
So you don't get any sort of questions around, is it becoming too Big Brother-like in Estonia?
So in Estonia, we don't have a Big Brother. We don't have one ring to rule them all. It's a distributed architecture. The citizen is the owner of the data. So in a way, we can say we don't have a Big Brother. We only have a small one, but the small one you can beat up when necessary. So you're bigger than it.
What's next for Estonia? Because you've been blazing a trail. You're doing great things. What's next? What's the impactful stuff that's around the corner for Estonia?
So currently I'm responsible for the Estonian artificial intelligence policy. We're working on basically the AI strategy and the law. And if anybody is interested, it's hashtag KRATT law, CRAT law. This is basically an idea where governments tend to look artificial intelligence in silos, like self-driving cars, drones, financial bots, self-driving ships, and so on. We are working on a general algorithmic liability law, which would basically solve the who is guilty across the whole domain. But this is very complex. But again, the point is that I think in terms of artificial intelligence, they're a very big problem, and it's mostly that people actually don't know what it is. They think about Terminator, they think about robots taking over everything. So we are talking actually about the only way we can actually enforce the invisible government is through artificial intelligence and through automated services. So we are actually talking about granting algorithms separate legal entity status. So there would be a physical citizen, legal personhood like a company, and then the third one would be algorithms. How would the world work at that point? And this is something that we want to be ready in May 2019 with the legal bill, and then push it to the parliament and so on. But it's highly necessary in order to future-proof the systems.
Patrick, I know Fujitsu is particularly proud of their involvement with the Estonian government. Just help us understand what Fujitsu have been doing and how the relationship's developed.
So I'm really proud that our Fujitsu Estonia team were involved at the very start of the Estonia e-government programme, as it was called in the day. There's a very important layer to that programme called X-Road, which is the common data interchange platform across government ministries and agencies. So the Estonia team from Fujitsu was involved in the first three versions of that platform, and we've also been working with Estonia to orchestrate processes across education and homeland security. I think quite importantly, these are end-to-end processes going across multiple government departments, and that's where the real value lies. And also our Finnish team are working with the Estonia government and our Estonia team to take that technology, those platforms into Finland, and my team in the UK will be taking that learning and that best practice back into the UK as well.
So it's really great cooperation with the Finnish. Basically what it means that when an Estonian would go to work in Finland or a Finn going to work in Estonia, they don't have to move any data or documents. All the data is reused. Or as a smaller example, if I go to ski in Finland, break my knee, I can share my medical records with a particular doctor that I tend to help my knee. So this makes actual everyday lives of people a lot easier because you don't have to mess with stupid documents.
This is digital co-creation. In practice, the theme of Fujitsu Forum 2018, co-creation for success. You're not going to hear a finer example throughout Forum 18, I don't think. There's still plenty more to come on Fujitsu Forum TV today. British, German viewers, once you've picked yourself up off the floor on that piece and figured out how you're going to apply all of that wonderful thinking, you might want to pay attention to the next interview as well. Co-creation for success. We're speaking to one of Fujitsu's partners, SUSE. They're going to be helping us understand their key role within a very special relationship between Fujitsu and SUSE. We're 13 minutes past 10. That means we'll be back on air at 10:30. Stay with us. There's plenty more to come today.